Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the call for tonight. And it's good to see everybody here. If you do me a favor, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, and that'll be helpful. Then I'll know you can hear me, and then we'll be off to the races. So good to see everybody here tonight, Saturday night in the summer. And those of you who are, uh, um, vampires like me, then it's just kind of another day. But if not, then hopefully you are doing well. So once again, please do me a favor. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. And then we'll get started in about 1 minute. Okay, once again, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. Okay, thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. And what I like to do is to start with your questions. So if you have anything that you're working on that you'd like some my perspective on, like some guidance on, I'd be happy to do that. So I want to start with your questions. So if you have questions about anything, your questions do not have to be restricted to PLR. It can be about anything with respect to your internet marketing business or something that you're trying to do. And I will definitely weigh in on it and give you the best advice that I can give you. So any questions about something that you are trying to do, I'm happy to answer your questions. On another note, one of the things I like to ask folks is what their most current project is. So if you don't mind sharing, you want to share and you want to put it in maybe put it in private, and just kind of let me know what you're working on. What's your current project or what it is that you are trying to accomplish next. That would be helpful, and then I can kind of tailor my comments to you. So let me know what you're working on. What's your current income generating project, if you have one, or you're a marketing business, or just kind of talk about what it is that you are trying to do. And then while you do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a PowerPoint presentation here, and we will then get started. Let's see, I want to put this on the other monitor there. Okay, so Dana has a question. How do you track your PLR inventory when you're using multiple outlets? Okay, great question. If I understand it. So Dana, when you mean multiple outlets, meaning you either use it to sell or you use it to, is that what you mean? Okay, so you're trying to figure out how to set up a sales page with multiple membership options, annual, monthly, print, and online. Okay, great. So I guess the question is, Dana, different audiences, different products, right? Do you want everyone to come to to one page and make a decision, or are you looking to drive different people to different pages? I guess that's my first question, right? So in other words, if I am more looking to do one thing that you're going to be talking to me about, are you going to send me to one page and then I make that decision, or are you going to, do you want to have all those decisions on one page? Now, my personal perspective on that is that you'd almost want to, yeah, we're talking about your sales page question. That's right. So my question to you, Dana, is, do you want it, or your okay, I guess I'm answering your last question first. Which was, you want to set up a sales page with buy buttons with multiple membership options, annual, monthly, print online. And I guess my question is, are people going to be making a decision about all of those things at once? So in other words, are they all the same customer and they're just going to have multiple options? Is that what the idea is? Okay. So and so then the question then is going to be, are you going to be recruiting affiliates for this? Are you gonna recruit affiliates, or are you just going to sell it outright based on the traffic you're sending? Okay, so the answer is yes, you are going to be recruiting affiliates for this, if I understand that right. Okay, then then I'm gonna, okay, not in the beginning, not in the beginning, but your intention is to eventually recruit affiliates for this. And then the follow-up question is, who's the audience going to be? Are the audience is the audience going to be inside of what we call the business opportunity or make money online niche, or are these going to be, um, people from the general population? So who's the audience, right? Who's going to be who are going to be the people that would be buying the print, the membership, the monthly, annually? Who are those people? Right? They're going to be people like us. Okay, freelance writers. Okay, good. So these freelance writers, are these freelance writers, um, uh, would they be on the Warrior Forum, or would they be kind of out in the internet apart from the Warrior Plus and JVZoo world? Okay, all right. So you're going to eventually recruit affiliates, and got it. Totally get it. Um, Okay, they're going to be outside that world. Okay, so then if you're going to eventually recruit affiliates, my recommendation is going to be, you're right, they don't understand internet marketing. Great. So I'm gonna suggest that you don't do JV for this, nor do I suggest that you do Warrior Plus. Now, both of those entities do make it easy for you to set up a shopping cart, and for you to get buyers, and for you to get a buyers list, and for you to be able to recruit affiliates. But if those people are not going to be familiar with, and if they would be surprised by getting into the make money online niche, if they would be surprised by getting emails from JV and Warrior Plus, then I would steer you away from setting up the buy buttons through those entities. So then the question then is, what can you use? And I think, if I understand you correctly, you're familiar with WordPress, so you're not intimidated by setting up a WordPress site, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to suggest there are a couple of plugins that you can use if you're not intimidated by those things. One of them would be called, right, yeah, one of them would be called Digital Access Pass. Is pretty good. And or you can use what's called Optimized Press. Now, okay, you already have Member Sonic, right? You already have Member Sonic. Okay, good. Um, uh, um, and Member Sonic, that works with WordPress? Member Sonic obviously works with WordPress because you mentioned it. Okay, you have Instabuilder too. Okay, so those are good. Okay, so membership sites covered. What about doing your sales pages on WordPress? Are you covered there? Right? Are you covered in terms of trying to do your sales pages there? Okay, so you can do your sales pages in Instabuilder too. Okay, so you've got Member Sonic for the membership piece. You've got your sales pages in Instabuilder, so that's good. And so now the question is, let's deal with the membership piece first. And the membership piece first, you want to be able to set a recurring membership, or you want to be able to sell a one-off product, or to be able to, uh, so it's not so cumbersome. Yeah. Um, um, I would almost think that you'd want to you'd want to do it in, if you have InstaBuilder or a site builder like that. I'm gonna suggest that you sort of start with the top down. Okay, 1 year, one time versus monthly. What I've seen recently, and I have not tested this, but this is what I have seen. I have seen 3 buttons, same line, side by side. 1, 2, 3. So in other words, you've got your okay, also print versus online. And your thinking is these are going to be the same people that are going to be interested in print versus online. So because that seems to me almost that's the first decision to make, right? And so is print going to be an option other than online? Okay, that's the way you have been doing it. Okay, good. Well, then, wow, that's a tough one, right? The I've seen 3 buttons side by side. So in other words, 1, 2, 3. I've never seen 4, and I've never seen 1, 2, 3, and then 2 under that. So print also gets online. So I'm going to think that you're going to put that print plus online someplace on of the 3 buttons, and then I guess if somebody and then if somebody exits, you could kind of bring the people who exit pop out of there to another offer. So in other words, whatever your least, whatever your lowest paying offer is, you could probably offer that as an alternative, right, to people who exit out of either the print and the other 2 offers that you have there. I don't know if I would go above 3 offers on one page. I would either be trying to drive people from a blog post to a specific area. So in other words, I would be trying to separate out that traffic from the blog post and then send them from the blog post to where they actually want to do. So so whereas if I'm going to be interested in print, I would pre-sell those people. So in other words, use the blog post, use your email to pre-sell the people who are going to be interested in print. And then if they click away, right, you can then give them an exit pop offer and say, hey, maybe you were not interested in a print version of this. Maybe you'd be more interested in the online version, which we have available here. But the pre-selling, though, I would do from either a blog post or from a video or from, yes, almost duplicate, because the because the what you're actually delivering to people in the print, the benefits are going to be slightly different, right? Because what's the benefit to getting a print journal? It's going to be different to me than online. So I would think that they're going to be similar. I would not think that they're going to be the exact same. I think you've got to make your copy and your pitch to those people differently. Plus, I think I would have a video selling the print version, right? So in other words, whatever the benefits are to getting this thing in print, whatever your sales copy is, I would also have that in a video also. Right. Yeah. And yeah, because personally, I would prefer print, right? I had I have a situation where I'm trying to get the Wall Street Journal, and it's okay online, but they can't deliver it. They can't deliver the newspaper to me first thing in the morning for whatever reason. And so I'm really getting ready to cancel the subscription, not because I don't like the Wall Street Journal. It's that I'd rather have the print edition. So I know there are people out there who are like me, who would like to have a print edition of something. So, but we're different people, right? I'm different from the person who's going to read it online. I know that. And the journal appeals to me for different reasons, right? We both like the same information, but the journal appears to me for different reasons. So my intuition would be that you need to pre-sell the people who are going to get in print, and you've got to sort of make that your sales page on that, and an offer that's specific to the print. And then maybe the separation point happens in a blog post, where if you're more interested in the print version, you would not say that, right? So you would start talking about the benefits of getting the print version, and this interests you, then go to here, and then they're going to click there, and they're going to get your offer to them for the print version, and then maybe talk about, this is sort of why you really want to get this information. Maybe you need to go here, and that's where you talk about the benefits of getting it all online. And because again, those are going to be two different pitches, because it's going to be less about the information. It might be more about how they get it. So maybe that's a place where you can have the separation, print versus online. And then when I get to the page about online, then you can make the pitch to me about the online version. And then if, let's say, I click away from that offer, if I click away from the offer, then you can make me another offer that is an exit pop that says to me, well, maybe you weren't interested in the print version, in the online version. You can make the pitch to me about the print. Correct. Right. Yep. Yeah. Jerry is suggesting that maybe you could offer the print as an upsell. Right. Online's a cost savings. Online's a cost savings. So what I would do is send the people to the print, right? But I would pre-sell someplace, right? Because I would be pre-selling either in your Facebook ad, pre-selling from your Facebook page, wherever you do, I would be pre-selling the print. And then when they exit out of the print, I would then send them exit pop them to an offer also, right? Because if that's a cost savings, maybe it is the cost that bothers them. Maybe it's kind of like, well, I that's more than I want to pay. You say, well, here's another way to get the same information. You can get it all online, right? So, but I would still do the same thing if I sent people to the offline version. I'm sorry, to the online version. I would still exit pop those people into the print version too, so they'd see both numbers. Yeah, I think that I would do the pre-selling though. Definitely the pre-selling from either the Facebook page or pre-selling from a blog post, where you really have a time to outline to me what the benefits are, right? And to sell in that way. Right? That's a great question. Yeah, great question. Right? Any other questions? I appreciate that, Dana. Us going through that. Anybody else have any questions or something that you're trying to do and you want to chat about it, or you want to get some insight on something that you can do? Okay, and it does not have to be PLR. It can be anything, right? Okay, and let's see now, Dana, you had a second question. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna backtrack, and then we'll talk about your first question, which was how do I track my PLR inventory when I use multiple outlets? And I think my question to you was, when you say multiple outlets, what exactly did you mean by that? Because I'd like to answer that question. How do I track my PLR that I'm buying? I'm assuming that you mean that I buy, and how do I track it if I use multiple outlets? I assume that's what you mean. So if you could just clarify that question just a little bit, I'm happy to answer that. Anyone else, if you have any questions, just write them right there in the box. I hope that no one feels as if there are any dumb questions. Okay, multiple audiences and multiple products. So typically, if you buy a PLR product, and you can actually do this inside of JVZoo, you can create multiple products, right, for the same offer. So in other words, you typically get a sales page that comes with the PLR. So you could set up your PLR offers with all the same sales page, but you can set up multiple offers. So in other words, you have what was the most recent one? Membership authority, and you put a PLR, you put a buy button on there, and what you do is you're going to market that to your writers, right? You're going to market that to the writers, and so you're going to have different bonuses, you're going to have different statistics, and so you want to send traffic specifically to that offer that are from the writers. So you're gonna, when you set up your product, you're gonna set up your product, and it's going to be the membership PLR. You're gonna use that sales page, but it's gonna be one buy button. You can then duplicate that sales page for a different audience. So in other words, same product, same delivery, except that you're going to actually set that up, a entirely different product to market to a different group, right? So let's see, and so I would say that if you choose to use JVZoo, all you're going to do is duplicate the product, right? And I think I can show you that here. Okay, I can show you that here. As a matter of fact, okay, so if you go and I don't know if you can see my screen or not. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so we're going to go inside of JVZoo, and so let's say that I'm going to go inside of Seller's Dashboard. I think I might have a product set up here. Okay, so here's a product, right? And let's say that this is the product that you have set up, and it's a PLR product, this one right here. And so what you would do then is you just go right down here and you just duplicate this product, right? So you click duplicate product. And what you have here is that you've got a duplicate version of the product. So you just go in here. And so let's say that what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the ultimate product creation workshop for writers, because I'm going to send this offer to writers. I'm going to call this ultimate product writers workshop, even though it's the same PLR offer. And let's say I'm going to do that one for $17, even though it's the same one. Right? So, and I'm not going to put it in the marketplace because I don't want it out in public. I'm only going to market this to certain people. Right? Then I'm going to save that product. Right? I'd say I got to put my PayPal in there. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen is that you're going to have a set of buy buttons here at the top. You're going to have a set of buy buttons here. So you're going to have a set of buy buttons here, a set of buy buttons here, and this is going to be two different products. You can then duplicate that product again. So if you want to send it to a third person, you're going to duplicate the product again. Right? So basically, these products are going to be inactive until you activate them and until you actually upload or send people to a thank you page. So that is how you would take one offer and then actually send it to 3 different audiences. Right? So I hope that maybe answers your question, Dana. So, but the basic PLR, how do you keep track of where all you use it? Well, you would keep track of it here, right? Because let's say that you're going to when you put this inside of your offer, you got to put a sales page in here, right? So you're going to put your sales page in here based on where you host the sales page. The buy button that you put is how you're going to track it. So you're going to track all your statistics through this area, through JVZoo. You're going to track the statistics for that product separately. You're going to track the statistics from this product separately. And so really, this is going to be your organization piece, barring anything else, that you'll be able to use to keep track of where the sales are coming from and where they're going to the different products. Right, so that's one way to do it, Dana, and basically you would allow JVZoo to organize that for you, right? If you were going to use a PLR in that way. Okay, so if that doesn't answer your question, then type right back in there, and I'll try to see if I can do a better job. Okay, so Nicole's question is, I am thinking of doing a membership with the WAM PLR. I'm wondering what membership site is best to use. Yeah, so there are 2 ways I would go about this. Let's see. Let me kind of get off of this. Nicole, there are two ways I would do this. Um, um, how familiar with you are you with WordPress, first of all, and how technical are you? That's going to be my first question. Would you consider yourself, Nicole, to be fairly technical? You know your way around WordPress. If you have to deal with plugins and themes, you're good with that. So maybe start with that. With that, if you can answer that question, that'll help me to be able to answer your question better. So how do you feel about plugins? How do you feel about integrating things into JVZoo? How comfortable are you with those things? Okay, all right, good, Dana. Okay, so I got your question. Okay, so how do you keep track of what's on your hard drive and where components of a PLR package are used? Okay, great. So um, I do that in two ways. Here's how I'll show you how I have my stuff organized. Um, I have stuff organized by, okay, so I'll show you my screen here and I'll try to size this up so you can see it. Okay, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do large icons. Okay, so Dana, I've got a folder here that's called affiliate bonuses, right? And so all of this stuff I keep in a I keep all of this stuff in a an external drive. So everything that I do with all my internet marketing is going to be an external drive. So anything that I do with in terms of affiliate bonuses, I keep in my affiliate bonuses folder, right? And so I've got all my folders here, and anything that I do with affiliate bonuses, and understand this, I do have a lot of duplication here. So if I decide I'm going to give a bonus away, I will download it into these folders, right? So I've got everything that I've ever used for any bonus in any of these folders, right? So everything's here. So I understand that that's going to duplicate things, but it helps me. It helps me to be able to keep track of things, right? So that's sort of one way that I've done it. And then if I choose to use something in a product, I've got my product files here. So if I create a product, I'm gonna have some. I know I'm gonna have some duplication, but I still keep track of it all here, right? So even if I have it over there in affiliate folders, the affiliate folder section, I also have it here. But all this stuff is on an external drive, and so the way that I look at this, Dana, is that I might be buying external drives faster than I'd like to. I mean, let me see. If I look at this, if I look at my external drive, it's probably okay. So this is 1 terabyte, and I actually have used 2/3 of this. So it's probably time for me to buy another external drive, right? I do have that external drive, and it looks like it's going to be time for me to replace it, right? So and I don't, and to be honest, I do not go back and try to delete stuff. I mean, I used to try to do that. I mean, I might ask my daughter to do some of that stuff, but right now I don't. So it's kind of all there. I also have in my I also have some of this stuff. A lot of stuff I have backed up in Office 365. So if you have Microsoft Office 365, then you get 1 terabyte of space, and so you can actually back up whatever you want to back up in the cloud. So I have a lot of stuff backed up in the cloud in Office 365. I used to use copy.com, and then they went defunct, or actually Barracuda decided to abandon it. So I kind of got rid of that aspect of it. Okay, and let's see. So Nicole, okay, so Nicole, there are a couple of things that I have I recommend. One of the things that's actually is actually pretty good. And I don't know if you've read my emails over the last couple of maybe last month or so. There is there is something out there called let me see, super fast action bonus.com/resell software. There's a membership software out there from John De La Vera that's, I think, in my opinion, it's easier to do than WordPress, easier to maintain, and you can actually lock up your stuff. And what you would do is you would actually create your product in JVZoo, and then you use that membership to kind of lock up your content, right? And you can, if you're going to deliver all the content at once, you could actually do that. And the easiest software that I've seen out there, and for a minimal amount, is going to be John De La Vera's. Now, S2 Member is a WordPress plugin, which is fantastic, and it's free. It is not for the faint of heart, though. It is not it is not necessarily easy to use. It is not necessarily all that user friendly. But it is effective. And so if you're willing to dive in and put some time into S2 Member and learn how to use it. Now, what happened to me was that I had to run a membership. I was working with a guy, and I was a technical person. And so it was my job to run the membership, and it was my job to make the membership pieces fit. And so I had to learn it. And it was a learning curve, and it took a while to learn how to do. So it is not impossible by any stretch. And that was even 3 years ago. And so no, not 3 years ago. It was back in 2011. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. And it's easier than it was back then. So if you're willing to kind of get in there and kind of dive in with S2 Member, there is S2 Member, and it's free, and it does integrate with JVZoo. And so you can sell your product on JVZoo, lock up the content, and put them inside your membership through S2 Member, right? Or you can use John De La Vera's program, which I've just recommended to you, which is his membership site suite software. And it's fairly easy to use. He actually had me do some of the tutorials for it. And so I had a chance to see it from the inside out. It is going to be easier to use than maintaining a membership using S2 Member. Now, you can actually go out and buy membership software like InstaMember. That might be a little overkill if you're going to kind of test this as a membership in terms of being able to offer it as a money maker. So let's say that you do this membership, it makes you money. Then I would then start thinking about taking your profits and upgrading. Then if you feel like, okay, I'm going to grow this membership, it's taken off, then you might want to start thinking about something like I think Dane even mentioned MemberSonic or S2 Member, or even Optimized Press. Now, I've used Optimized Press. Optimized Press is actually an upgraded version of S2 Member. Yeah, Smart Member is like $4.97, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. I do not own it, I have been asked to. I ran someone else's membership using Digital Access Pass, so I do know that that's a little technical. It's a little easier to work with than S2 Member, but it's definitely technical. I would not recommend that to somebody who is semi-technical, right? Digital Access Pass, and really and truly, even InstaMember is probably a little technical, and you'd probably have to really do a deep dive into a lot of tutorial videos before you knew how to make it work. And the thing I'll say about membership software is generally this: all membership software, all of it, right? And I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not running anybody down when I say this. All membership software has flaws, and all of it at some point will not necessarily do everything you want it to do, right? There's just something inherent about trying to get a membership software to work. They all have flaws. And so, and if you're willing to kind of deal with the flaws and get in there and kind of make some things work, right? You can. Where have I seen a membership software that does everything you need all of 100% of the time? I've never seen that, both for myself or memberships that I've run for other people. That being said, the practical and most affordable thing is typically going to be your best offer. And as you grow the membership. You grow the membership software. So that's sort of how I would answer that, Nicole. I appreciate your question. Let's see. Let me go back here. And let's see. Okay, Greg's question was, do you use any free offers or giveaways at the start of your sales funnel, or do you start with your low ticket offer? Great question. Absolutely great question. I think you test both. So in other words, because whatever offer you do, even as a free offer, it's not going to be the only ones you put out there. So I would say that you wanna put some people into a marketing funnel using a free product, right? Still, you want to make it awesome, right? So you're giving somebody something awesome, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to attract your ideal customer, right? You're trying to attract them, your ideal customer, and somebody who kind of vibes with you, somebody who is not necessarily just looking for the freebie, but somebody who kind of gets how you're doing it, gets who you are. They want more stuff from you, and you're giving them something free. So if that's the case, but if your pitch to them is that, you know, this is free, then you might attract the wrong person. But if your pitch to them is, let me talk to you about your problem, right? So here's what your problem is. Your problem is this. You probably have this. You probably have this going on, and this is your frustration. Here's something that will help you, right? And so you've taken the time to, whether it's in your sales video and your blog post, to kind of build some kind of rapport and relationship. And then at the end, you're saying, hey, here's something that will help you with this, right? That might filter out some of the people who are just kind of after something to just get something free. Because even if you have 10,000 names on your list, if the only reason that they're on their list is to get that free thing, they're probably not going to respond to you in a way that you want in terms of being able to become a buyer. And so if you can do a little pre-engagement up front to kind of get some of those people and then do the giveaway, then I think then the giveaway can be effective. And if you're going to go through the process of doing some pre-selling, right? So if you're going to do some pre-engagement, pre-selling, then you might as well test an offer with that. So in other words, hey, you know what? I know that you've got this problem, this problem, this problem. And typically, if you went out and got the solution, I mean, this is what you'd have to pay for it, and this is what you could expect to have to do. I've got something that'll solve that problem here, right? And here's how it solves that problem, and here's the investment I'm going to ask you for. And if your buyer then understands that investment is a small amount, number one, of what it would cost if they tried to solve themselves. Number two, it's a small investment in terms of the discomfort they're experiencing. Then you will have kind of brought that person into your marketing funnel, and they're going to buy that front end product. So my answer to you, if you're talking about one versus the other, I would test both, right? And even if I did the free offer, I would be trying to build some pre-engagement rapport so that they don't just come for the freebie. Right. Yeah. So even the freebie has to solve something. Because if the pitch to me is just, this is free, right? You could probably get some people on your list, and you'll probably get some buyers. But by and large, what will happen is the number of names you'd have on your list will play tricks with your mind, right? Because are these folks going to be opening? Because there are two steps to this process, right? So let's say that freebie gets them onto your email marketing list. Well, they got to open your email first of all. So if you've heard about marketers having open rates 1%, 2%, that's why. If you got a gazillion names, you got an open rate of 1 or 2%, 3%. That's not gonna help you as much as if you have somebody who's engaged and your open rate is higher, right? With person, because the reason they got on your list is because some of the stuff that you said to them in order to help them solve the problem. Right? As targeted as you can get, right? So in some cases, when you talk about internet marketing, um, people want to make money, right? So it can be laser, it can be super targeted, right? It can be what you want to make money with with CPA. Typically, but before you really decide on what your niche is, you'll look at anything, right? Not you personally, but a person who would get on your list. If you're selling them make money online products, they'll look at a CPA based product, even if they're not making money CPA. If you could teach them something that might turn their minds. So internet marketing kind of has this broad sort of perspective, but the universe of people who are into make money online products is really small, right? Because there are people out there who are into, day trading, right? There are people who are out there who are into, binary and other stuff. So there's a wide variety of people. So the make money online people, it's not as big of a universe as you might think. And so offering them a range of things would not always be a bad thing. So the laser targeting is, hey, you want to make money on the internet, right? And you could, okay, yeah. So you want to give. So what I would be looking to do is if you want to give away free PLR and software. So the idea to me then is, what's the pitch? So is it that are you selling me on the fact that I can create my own product, right? So that's the pitch to me, right? So that's how you're going to pitch me on getting on your list. That's how you're going to pitch me on this free software. Hey, Charles, this free software is going to help you to create products, and that's going to be different from somebody who might want to have, get free PLR to learn something, right? But if you're selling me the PLR because, hey, I get this PLR and I can create my own product, then I'm going to come to your list for that, right? That for whatever reason that appeals to me, and I decide to get on your list for that, right? And so I get on there, right? And so you can then start to then talk to me about creating products, and that sort of guides your conversation. Even if you decide that it's software, right? You're going to give away free software with an eye toward what? You're going to give me free software with an eye toward me being able to resell it, then that is a way for you to get me onto your list, and you can start talking to me about other things with respect to creating my own product, because that's why I got on your list. So part of the specialization over time is sort of you attract people onto your list for a reason, and then you start talking to them about that thing, and then there's no surprise, right? So hopefully that would be how I would approach that, Greg. That's a great question. Fantastic. And let me see. Let's see, Greg. And then Kurt. I need to know how to get off. Oh man. Okay, so Kurt says he wants to get off of his AZZ. And then get started online. Okay, he had a domain and hosting for years, but can't seem to get anything moved. That's good, Kurt. I appreciate that. Okay, so you want to get something going. So so you probably attend webinars, you probably do a lot of learning, and so the number one thing that I think will get a person moving forward is a commitment to launching. Right now, this is just my opinion. I mean, you probably are doing some affiliate marketing, so you probably put a link out there, but ultimately, even big affiliate marketers eventually build lists so they can sell their own product, right? So you can get started with affiliate marketing by marketing somebody else's products because it is the easiest. You find a group of people who are interested in something, you know where they are, they start listening to you, and you make a recommendation to them. You can do affiliate marketing with a blog. You can do you can do affiliate marketing with you can do affiliate marketing with your uh, with video, right? You can attract people, right? And you can do it that way. I'm just going to type a quick message. Okay, so um, I would say that affiliate marketing is going to be the easiest thing to get started. Probably the way that you're going to move the fastest is to launch a product. And I often say this, that even if you do not get a single sale, you will learn more faster by launching your own product. And that is really one of the benefits of PLR. You get a PLR product, you change it for the audience that you know will buy it, or that you think will buy it, right? And so you add some bonuses to it, you add some extras to it, and then what you can do is you can then make that offer, right? Um, to someone, but the process of putting together your offer will move you faster in internet marketing than anything else you can do, right? Because you have to learn all of the stuff that's necessary when you commit to launching a product. You have to learn some sales copy. You have to learn how to do a sales video. You have to learn how to recruit a JV. You have to learn how to put a buy button together. You have to learn how to put your product together, because until then, it's all theoretical, right? It's all sort of like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'll learn this when it gets ready. But when you commit to actually launching a product and selling it, again, doesn't even matter if anybody buys the first one, right? You commit to launching a product and getting it all ready. And then that process will cause you to learn a lot of stuff. And then you'll be at that point then where you've got this product available. And when you have that product available, then you've got something. So when you get the product, you've got some currency, right? You can actually you can approach a product creator and you can say, hey, you know what? Got this awesome product. It sells for $27. I'd like to make it. I noticed you've got a product that's coming out. It's similar on that. I know you've got one coming out in 2 weeks. I like for you to be able to offer my product free to your buyers as a bonus, because it fits yours that way. You've got currency. Your product is your currency that way. You can approach people with that. Number two, what you can also do is you can then get yourself on Warrior Plus, and you can start offering that product to people at a reduced rate. You can go to the Warrior Forum and do some of the same things. But the product creation process, right, will cause you to learn fastest and will cause you to learn everything you need to know. Because even as you get 2 or 3 people on your list, right, you get 2 or 3 people on your list, and what you are then able to do is you are then able to then learn how to do affiliate marketing. Because some of affiliate marketing is going to be sort of theoretical until those people are kind of on your list. One of the ways to get people on your list fast is to get them to buy something, right? And so creating that product, in my opinion, right, is going to be the fastest. And that's where you get your PLR. You turn it into something that is a product that you want to sell. You do not have to use a PLR product right out of the box, right? You use a PLR, and I say this and I say this and I say this, it's the truth. You use a PLR as raw material, right? And in my opinion, never just use a PLR product right out of the box. Use a PLR product and turn it into something, because then you're really creating value. It is your product, right? Until then, I don't even believe that you and I have the ability to get emotional and to connect with people to get them to buy stuff. You, at some point, just to put somebody in front of a sales video where you're sort of not in the sales video and you're sort of not the one talking about the product, you might still get sales, right? But I don't think that you will get as many sales until I get to look at you in the camera and you get to tell me why you think this is going to benefit me based on what you know about me. Right. And that even if all you do is you get a PLR product, you get the script that they have, and you read it. Right. Don't rely on their sales video. And it doesn't matter if you stumble and stammer over it. As a matter of fact, it's even better if you're real. If you get a PLR video, right? You get a video, a PLR video. And it's a giveaway video, right? Or it's a squeeze page video. You do the video, right? You do it. Because if you do it, then when people come to that page, you and I could probably tell that, if something's going to be, if you're not making a connection, right? So if I can make a connection to you if you make the pitch. And so that's kind of the way I would kind of come at that is start with product creation and affiliate marketing. Okay. All right. Great question. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, and that's a great way too, right? You could write a short report or just kind of outline how to solve a specific problem and sell it to that market, for $7 or $9. I mean, that's a great way too. And then you can do a course to upsell it to the video, right? Upsell the video. And then you can give the folks resale rights to it, right? You can say, you can give them the report, and if they buy it, you can give them resale rights. You can upsell it with video, right? So in other words, you do the short report, and then you do 10 videos to go with it, and use that as your upsell. All right. So yeah, great point there, Greg. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Hey, any other questions here? I honestly do not think so, Eugene. I honestly do not think so. I think people want you, right? And some people are going to make a connection with you based on being able to look at your face and you being able to look at the camera and you being able to tell them why you want something or why they need it. And some of that's going to come from in here, right? And some of that, because if you really look at something, you believe in it, right? You believe I need it. You can probably look at me in my eye and tell me that, hey, you know what? Unequivocally, this is what you need to get right now, right? This is what you need. If you're talking about doing this, man, this thing, I've used it. I know people who used it, and this is what you need to try, right? You can do that. And I don't think that take now. I'm not saying that you do one take of the video and you just kind of trip over it. I'm saying you do your best take, and you tell people and you look at them, right? And you tell them why you think, why will this benefit me? That works for me more than any slick. That works for a lot of people more than a slick sales pitch. If you feel like you're gonna trip over your words too much, you can then do a PowerPoint video like you see some of the sales videos, right? If you don't want to be on camera, or if being on camera intimidates you, you can do a sales video kind of like that, where you're reading it, right? And you just read the script as it goes, right? Then flip to the next slide, just like you see some of the videos. And a lot of people are successful with those, right? But I think that ultimately your voice is more credible than somebody else's voice who's really slick and cool. That's my opinion. And I have worked for a number of people. I have worked with a number of people who felt, well, you know what, I don't feel all that good about the way I sound, or they're from a foreign country and they think, well, my English isn't great. And I have said over and over and over again, and I say this all the time, nobody cares about your English, right? Nobody cares about that. What they care about is whether or not you get them. And do you get them enough to sell them what it is that you really think is going to benefit them, right? That's my opinion. Yeah, yeah, all day, every day, Eugene. Authenticity over delivery. That's I honestly believe that. Um, truth be told, I mean, how many things have you bought from people that didn't have it all down, right? Often we buy a lot of stuff from people who are just right there with us, and I'll never forget when I got right out of school, and I got my first corporate job at British Petroleum, and it was a job where I had to supervise. Okay, so the way it worked at British Petroleum is that you had to you before you could get a staff job, an office job, a white collar job, they put you in a training program, and then they put you out in the gas stations. So they said, before you come in to work at the office, we want you to be able to know what happens at the service stations so that you'll have a well-rounded perspective. So you do 24 months out in the field, and they called it a marketing associate. So I went out in the field, and so they had it so that you then had to supervise um, um, you had to supervise some of the gas station attendants. And quite honestly, it was a disaster for me. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. I was 22 years old, and here I am trying to supervise some guys and some dudes who had been running service stations for 20, 30, 40 years and who were not making all that much. And and so I left that job, or I'd been or it was kind of like I was either going to leave or they were going to ask me to leave the next minute. So I said, well, you can't fire me. I quit, that kind of thing. No, I didn't really say that, but okay. So I left that, and then I went and worked, and I did telemarketing. I'll never forget this. So I'm in the telemarketing room, and so they gave me a script, and so I'm reading the script exactly the way they told me, and I'm doing my voice inflections and all this other stuff, and then um, they had you ring a bell when you got a sale. My bell never rang, and then I look over here, and there's this girl, and she's kind of laying down on her desk, and she's got the phone. She's kind of got the phone curled up, and she's just ringing that bell all day, all day, all day, and basically, she just took the script and she delivered it her way. Right? I'd have no idea what she was saying, but she was the only one ringing the bell. Everybody else was reading the script. And so it kind of taught me that it's not the delivery, right? It's sort of like she kind of got down there and she related to those people who were getting on that telemarket. I can't even remember what we were selling, but I think it was like, I don't know, phone service. But she was selling this phone service, and I if I knew her today, I would ask her to sell anything I had, because I almost guarantee she'd be able to sell it, because it really is going to be, can you kind of get there and relate to the people where they are, right? So yeah, so I would say authenticity over delivery, Eugene, all day. Let's see, Steve Mumford. Yeah. That's exactly right, Steve. I think that whether it's through email, whether it's through social media, it's about building relationship, and whether or not, and I'm going to say this about, and it's about 9:57, and I know I've been going long, about 30 minutes too long, but I'm going to say this to you. Don't feel as if you have to go running to do Facebook Live because quote unquote everybody's doing it. Right? You don't because it's wherever you are, it's going to be about building the relationship with people, right? And so whatever you're doing, if you decide that you're going to use Facebook Live, if you decide you're going to use Snapchat, if you decide you're going to use Periscope, it doesn't really matter. You can use Webinar Fusion Pro. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is that you are able to kind of get right with the folks, right? That you don't put them beneath you and you don't put them above you, right? So don't, you don't put anybody above you and don't put anybody below you. You get right there with them, right? And you really do kind of get there and you kind of let them know, hey, you know what? You get them. And folks should walk away thinking, well, you know what? I may not buy anything today, but that guy gets me. He gets me. He gets it, right? He knows it. And I think if you do that and you sort of do that repeatedly, then people will kind of come back to you for whatever it is, right? And you will get the opportunity to sell. I agree with that. Okay. Any other questions? I'm sorry I went long about just about about everything, right? But any other questions? I know I kept you a little long today. Any questions? Okay, everybody. Well, I'm going to encourage you that if you just really kind of feel like you need to kind of get going, I'm no longer doing training twice a week. I'm going to highly suggest you join our training program. We can answer your questions pretty much on a weekly basis. And there's just going to be some things that I just cannot do on a coaching call, but I can do, inside of our group. And so if you haven't had a chance to make a decision about the group, you haven't had a chance to really think about it, it's gainmindshare.com/coaching. You get one PLR product every month to kind of make into your own product. And the emphasis really is in that group, launching your own product, right? And so this is what we do, just like I'm doing with you tonight. I went a little long tonight. I went a little longer than I expected to go, but this is what we do on once a week. And it's really designed to do one thing, and that's to kind of get you moving and to get you launching and to get you going, right? Because there's a process that you need to know to kind of walk through this. There's some steps that you need to take, and you can actually kind of work through that process, inside of our coaching program. So again, that's gainmindshare.com/coaching. Okay. Okay, my camera equipment, Eugene, is what I use for my webcam is a Logitech 930E. I use the Logitech 930E, and it shoots in 1080, right? It shoots in 1080. It's fantastic. And one of the things that's about the Logitech 930E is that the resources run inside of the camera, so that they don't take up the resources of your computer. So it doesn't cause, your computer to do funny things, right? Because sometimes a computer can, if the computer is trying to run the camera and trying to stream at the same time, sometimes it gets confused. But this camera, all the resources run into the camera, and I love it, right? So that's what I'm using right now, the Logitech 930E. If you're talking about this is a Canon Vixia HFR 500. And so now the only thing that I do not like about that camera is that it does not have a remote. I mean, I'm going to edit the video anyway, but if I had to do over again, I would get the same version of this, except that I would get one that had a remote with it. Right? That's what I would say. Non-PLR question from Chase. Okay, for the autoresponder, it seems basic to put a footer area, so we don't have to put one on each letter and then update each one every time we want to change it. Is that a future feature? Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can kind of think about this. So Okay, I think I understand what you're saying, Chase. So this is you're talking about Ingenious Marketing Pro. Is that what you're talking about, Jace? If that's what you're talking about, do me a favor. Do me a favor if you could send that to me in an email. Right, send that to me in an email, and then I'll put that to the programming team. I appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, Eugene, that's what yeah, that's what some people that's what some people said she was doing, right? I never did stand over there and listen to her. I just couldn't figure out how she was ringing the bell, nobody else was. No, now what I will say about that is that you notice I have a headset. Now the headset, right? The headset that I use with this camera is called the Plantronics 355. And you will never guess how much it costs. This mic costs $16, right? You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Best Buy or eBay. $16 this mic. And so because this mic has stereo jack plugs. But once again, I don't use a USB mic because the USB mic causes the computer to have to run resources while I'm streaming. And so I'm relying on the stereo plugs that plug into the jacks like this because I don't want the computer's resources to be taken. And so that's the mic I'm using with that camera. Logitech 930E and this headset, the Plantronics 355, Plantronics 355. And the way you're supposed to use it, I don't know if you're supposed to kind of keep this mic tilted down so you don't get the pop sound. Sometimes I forget, but in general, you will not get that pop sound if you have this mic tilted down and you don't talk into it. If you talk into it, you know, you'll get the pop sound. But if you don't, right, in general, you get a good sound. Okay. So once again, everybody, I'm going to suggest you pop in 2 hour into our plan. Go ahead and take a look at the at our coaching program. Pretty much what we're doing tonight is what we do once a week, and would love to have you. So gainmindshare.com/coaching. Thank you very much, everybody. Until next week, have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.